Baltimore is having some challenges right about now with the Freddie Gray situation. President Obama.
Yes, I am well aware of the situation. I see how they are rioting and looting, and that does not solve anything at all. I am proud of what the mayor is doing right now.
You are proud of the mayor, you say? Now this mayor, Stephanie Rawlings-Blake, back in November of last year, in the midst of the Ferguson uprisings. The Baltimore Sun, the newspaper of Baltimore, in the December 1st issue talked about how Stephanie Rawlings-Blake carried out her promise, I repeat, carried out her promise, to veto the bill requiring officers to wear body cameras while on duty.
A WJZ exclusive. Baltimore police investigating the actions of one of their own officers after video shows the officer punch a man in the face before his arrest. WJZ is live. Derek Valcourt with the video that you only see here on WJZ. Derek?
That video lasts just about a minute, but some say it shows an officer going too far. You're watching cell phone video that appears to show a city officer trying to move a crowd from in front of a McDonald's on Howard Street. But the physical confrontation begins when the officer pokes a young man, and the man then swats the officer's hand away.
What you got a problem, son? I'm gonna ask you right now. I'm gonna ask you to get out of my face, bro. Don't touch me. Nope. Hey, yo! Oh! Oh! Oh, yeah!
The officer takes a few seconds to handcuff the man and then calls for backup while the crowd nearby screams and yells. The young man in the handcuffs is 19-year-old Antonio Moore. He poked you,
yeah.
You swatted away, and then what happened?
And he just punched me. For no reason.
But the officer apparently saw it differently. In his statement of probable cause, he writes, Moore, without warning, began rapidly advancing towards me in a threatening, hostile manner. So I placed my arm out to create a distance and halted his advance.
The video shows the proof. I didn't try to attack the officer.
City police unaware of the video until WJZ showed them. Moore's been charged with second-degree assault and disorderly conduct. Was this police brutality?
Yes.
While police would not speak on camera, the department is investigating and explains the video only shows a portion of what happened. The video, the latest in a string of caught-on-camera incidents that have called into question officers' behavior, including this incident where a cop was caught on camera punching a man near a bus stop. In fact, a Baltimore Sun investigation recently detailed dozens of cases where the city paid out more than $11 million to settle allegations of police brutality. Part of why Police Commissioner Anthony Batts and the mayor now actively supporting the introduction of body cameras on all officers, justified or crosses the line.
That she'll veto the plastic bag ban and the police body camera bill, which requires police officers to wear audio and video recording devices on duty. The city's legal department has said that the bill is illegal, and the mayor has raised privacy concerns, among other issues.
I don't want to have to send things back to them for them to get their job right. But when they don't get it right, I have to be the chief executive for our city, and I can't sign legislation that I think is sending the wrong message to our citizens.
And now the mayor reiterated again tonight that she supports police body cameras, but she says she just doesn't support this bill. She has until the city council meeting on January 26th to veto the bills, or they automatically become law. Reporting live at City Hall, Kyrie, WBAL TV 11 News.
In a letter to the council, Rawlings-Blake said she supports having police wear body cameras but opposes the legislation, in part, she argues, because the council does not have their authority to impose the requirement. Now she said that she was not against the cameras but against the process.
What the fuck does that mean?
Sounds like a bunch of double talk, and here is why I say that. The Baltimore Sun said she kept her promise. Her promise to who? Who was she promising this to about stopping the bill for the police to wear body cameras? So 6 months later, Freddie Gray happens and there were no body cameras available to even have a chance of the event being captured on video. This happened not too long after Mike Brown, then you had Milwaukee, then you had South Carolina, Oklahoma, now Baltimore with a black mayor and a press conference. A press conference where she calls the upset individuals thugs.
Too many people have spent generations building up this city for it to be destroyed
by thugs who, in a very senseless way, are trying to tear down what so many have fought for. Tearing down businesses, tearing down, destroying property. Things that we know will impact our community for years. We are deploying every resource possible to gain control of this situation and to ensure peace moving forward.
She is using white supremacist talking points. President Obama. Thug is a code word for nigger and you know it. Just like you, she has nothing to say about the killing of unarmed black people, but she has something to say about their response. But no one said this about the Kentucky rioters.
But speaking of disorderly conduct, actually, that story in Kentucky is really pretty disturbing.
It certainly is going on all night long. We're going to get to that right now. Those riots in Lexington, students poured into the streets to celebrate the big Kentucky win, but that partying turned into a riot that brought out the police. The newest member of our ABC News team, Alex Perez, has the latest from Lexington. Good morning, Alex.
George, good morning to you. This is what many people here in Lexington are waking up to this morning, a complete mess outside of their homes. Several people have been hospitalized and police are searching for a gunman.
What began as a chaotic celebration turned to mayhem overnight as an estimated crowd of 15,000 revelers rioted in the streets, setting fires and trashing homes. Someone even opening fire on a crowded street, shooting one person as the campus celebrated the Wildcats' NCAA championship win. The gunman, who reportedly ran into a crowd, remains on the loose.
At this point, the investigation, we don't have any leads on who the people were.
300 riot gear-equipped officers were deployed to deal with that crowd. So outnumbered at one point, officers could do nothing but watch.
There was a shooting down there. They flipped over cars, set them on fire.
Crews put out more than 40 fires, including a car, several mattresses, couches, and even piles of garbage that were ignited. Dozens of rowdy rioters were arrested, and at least 20 people were hospitalized. As this city now copes with a morning hangover of cleanup and repairs,
and others who were rioting and destroying property over trivial nonsense, not because an unarmed person was killed like in the situations with the black folks of Baltimore. The Pumpkin rioters.
So David's been here for a little while. I was over on the other side. This is Blake Street, right? Right here?
The other end of Blake Street.
So this is where the huge bottle fight was going on for at least 10 minutes solid, right down this street here. And these guys apparently just stood here the entire time. I did. People were actually getting hit with bottles and there was actual violence happening. There's another group of cops over there just standing there doing absolutely nothing. So you say they've been here for a while.
I went down the end of the street. I said I was going to show them the video of what, do you know what's happening on Blake Street right now?
Yeah.
And Jason Short said, we're well aware of what's happening, we're containing it.
The Venice Beach riots, the Vancouver 2011 Stanley Cup riots.
It was a hard-fought series, and a wild night turned into a very dangerous situation in that city, and our Josh Elliott has been tracking all of this. Overnight nasty.
Yeah, as we can see, I mean, it was a terrifying scene there in Vancouver. Angry fans obviously pouring out into the streets. Emotion heightened as 4 stabbings in its result were reported. The scene so chaotic and violent, ambulances actually couldn't get through to help those injured.
Vancouver, transformed into a war zone. Fires erupted in busy downtown intersections. Flames shot 30 feet into the air. Storefronts smashed by looters grabbing everything in sight. as people dangled from light poles, while police in full force struggled to contain the crowd with tear gas. Two of their cruisers set ablaze. The city's mayor described the participants as hooligans. The reason for all of this chaos? A hockey game lost by the hometown Canucks to the visiting Boston Bruins.
For the first time in 39 years, the Boston Bruins have won the Stanley Cup.
It was the 7th and last game of hockey's Stanley Cup Finals, a winner-take-all end to what had been a brutal series. And that intensity, exacerbated first by last night's loss, and the riotous result, left the city broken and burning.
This is wrong for the city. This isn't the reputation we want. This is not what the people want. This is wrong. I'm embarrassed.
We have reports of more than 100 people that have been treated for exposure to tear gas, and police aren't saying just how many people they have arrested. Of course, if you remember, Vancouver erupted in similar riots in 1994, the last time the team, Robin, lost Game 7 of a Stanley Cup final.
It's so tough to lose at home like that. No excuse, and unfortunately the ugly side that we sometimes see in sports.
Then you see her at town hall meeting with the police after she apologizes in print. Why couldn't she get on the television and apologize to black people like she called them thugs on the television? You know why, because she is doing like you, Obama. And then the cowardly Ray Lewis gets on television and chastises the people, and from what I understand the kids are not listening to him. A man who was charged with murder. He should know better than that, but he is no longer credible.
No way. No way. No way this can happen in our city. No. Young kids, you got to understand something. Get off the streets. Violence is not the answer. Violence has never been the answer. Freddie Gray, we don't do nothing for him doing this. We know there's a deeper issue. We know what the jungle looks like. But this isn't it. It's enough of us in the streets trying to change what's going on. Baltimore, get off the streets. Kids, go home. Stay home. You don't have no right to do what you're doing to this city. Too many hardworking people build this city. We put this city together. We put this city on our back. We with you. We know what's going on. We know the problems. We know there was wrong done. We know we're not getting the right justice. We know all these answers. But riding in our streets is wrong. It's dead wrong. We got to go back to the beginning. It takes a village. It takes a whole village to raise one child. We got to redefine what this looks like. We got to redefine what building Baltimore looks like. Because there's too many people putting real sweat, real tears to make our city a better place. I can't come back home and this is it. Kids can't walk the street. This is our future. Our future's in Baltimore. What we're trying to build is in Baltimore. Too many babies paying attention to this craziness. And the sad part is we got young kids trying to tell us how they're going to dictate our city. That won't happen. We must change this right now. Stop the violence, man. Go home. I'm telling you, go home. And whatever I gotta do, it will not happen on our clock. It will not happen on our clock.
And Mr. Wendell Pierce, who went from sounding like Malcolm, has now went to sounding like his Uncle Ruckus character from Get on the Bus, the Spike Lee movie. Remember his cooning in that movie? He is playing the game, I guess.
Well, I have to serve the purpose of those who fund my campaign. I am a politician.
Why won't you or Stephanie Rawlings-Blake criticize the cops? But you have all the heart in the world to attack people who support you unconditionally. You treat black voters like, what does 2 Chainz call them, thots? Yes, you treat your black voters like thots. That hoe over there. Politicians might as well say, we will work for the gay vote, the immigrant vote, the Jew vote. When someone says what about the black vote, politicians will say, the black vote. You mean, that hoe over there? We got them, don't worry. They will demand nothing. One of these days blacks will get it. Those who don't, oh well.
Hey, what is Obama supposed to do? Black people think that a vote and good morals alone will get it. Of course you vote, but vote with a demand. Not because it is somebody who plays basketball or can dance. And as for Stephanie Rawlings-Blake, the white men that control her have more say-so than the Negroes. Yeah, she is an AKA, but we have money to control the nigger bitch, and if she fails, we'll do her just like we did Detroit Mayor Kilpatrick and discard her. There's not a coon who came into contact with us and we did not deal with them accordingly. You can't name one. If she even thinks about stepping out of line, we will fix her. Don't believe me, just watch. When you think about Baltimore and the political infrastructure, think about white supremacy and blackface. We run this, the black pawns in office just run around in it.